Hello, everybody. My name is Nicholas Sadowski. We have a great show today, and I'd like to thank you for waking up super early to watch Daybreak with me and my next guest. So, like I said in my intro, good morning, everybody. We have a great show today. It is the season finale of season 3, so next week starts season 4. We've had a few scheduling issues over the past week. Some people have had stuff to do, so I've had to move people around. So, if you're expecting to see Emma Thompson today, you will not. She has been moved to the season finale of season 4, which is 4 weeks from now. In her place, we have the wonderful Bianca Anderson from the town of Norwell, and if you remember, back in season either 1 or 2 season finale, we had Abigail Keefe talk about her song. We're having her back on stage to talk about her new song. So, yeah, we have a great show today. Also, we have a new question system. So, if you remember, over the past season here, we've been doing this sort of in-show question system where if you want to ask a question to the guest, but since you're not the host, you really can't, you can send me a question during the show, and then I will ask it to the guest. But if you aren't able to make it to the show, because it's super late and church is at this time, so if you watch the show but you can't ask a question, what are you supposed to do? Well, Cynthia Davies from New York suggested that we have a system where you can respond to like a post on Instagram or on Facebook, and you can ask a question without you actually being there, so I can put them down on a piece of paper, and then I can ask the guest during the interview. We've tried that out today. I have a few questions for my guests here. It worked wonderfully, so thank you to Cynthia Davies for that wonderful suggestion. So, let's get into Daybreak. My first guest is a accomplished songwriter, is on all the streaming platforms with her song The Crown Jewels, and we're here to talk about her new song today, 1994. Hopefully I got that right. Please welcome the wonderful Abby Keefe.
Hello.
Hey, Abby.
How's it going?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Awesome.
All right, so how have you been since you were last on the show?
Good. Things have been good, yeah.
I still remember that interview. It's one of my favorite interviews because you're very enthusiastic, and I got this picture from
Oh,
no. It took me a while to find. So I was doing the commercial for season 2 or 3, I think, and I was looking for funny things to use, and that one was the best picture I found.
So bad.
But it was oh, that's really funny. All right, so the interview. So we're here to talk about your new song, 1994.
Yes.
So, like I said in your intro, we talked about the Crown Jewels last time. Now you're back in 1994. When did you start writing this song?
I wrote it in, I think, April of 2019.
So, is that like the music and the lyrics, or the lyrics and then you're looking at it later?
Yeah, so I wrote it on piano, and I just wrote the melody and the lyrics and the chord progression, and then it just kind of, I played it for fun, and then I just a few months ago, earlier, probably like February of this year, I sat down and actually like made a demo of it and decided that it was the next song that I wanted to put out. So
So you started it in April of last year. So what took you to now, or actually it'll be released in a couple weeks. What made you take it now to release it instead of back in last year?
So I had plans to release another song, but because of the pandemic, I decided to wait to release that one just because it has a lot more like instrumentation, and it's just takes a lot more collaboration. So I decided that this one would be a good second song.
With that second song, is that gonna go? So so far what I know, you have 3 songs. It's Crown Jewels, this one, and the other one you're talking about.
Yeah. Sorry. What?
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. I mean, I have like in my phone, I have probably about 30 songs that are like good enough to be, I think, releasable, in my opinion. Well, some of them need work, but I just haven't recorded them all.
Okay.
So it like, um, but released and recorded, I have one song, and I'm just building that as time goes.
Are you ever going to release an album?
I really want to. I think that'd be really cool. But I think releasing an album is something that you do when you have like a bigger
Right.
like fan base. So I think at some point maybe I'll release an EP. But an album, I'm not sure. Not yet, at least.
For our non music people, would you mind explaining what an EP is?
Yeah, I mean, EP is basically like a smaller, like a collection of songs that's just smaller than an album. So like three or four.
All right. So you're maybe if you get a bigger fan base, you might be releasing an album. And so far as
Yeah.
I know, you have one song that could be released, but you're waiting because it has a lot more instrumentation. But
Yes.
unfortunately, because of 2019 restrictions, the release date of this song got pushed back. It was supposed to be released actually like a couple days ago, so we could actually play the recording, but you had to push it back a little bit. So when do you suspect that you'll be able to release this new song, 1994?
So 1994 is coming out July 8th. I'm very excited. um, so I think that's like a week from Wednesday, I believe.
Yes.
Maybe.
Is it coming out? So last time we talked, you said you put Crown Jewels on like Amazon Music, Spotify, and all these other things. Are you planning on releasing it on all those platforms again?
Yes.
So if you want to find the song, July 8th, and it's everywhere. So you can go look it up anywhere you want.
I'm gonna start putting the pre-save link on my social, so just look out for that.
And I'll post your social in the video description of this.
Awesome.
All right, so with 1994, what is this new song about? So I briefly got on this last time. I tried to get it out of you, and I didn't get a lot, but I found out that it was not about the year 1994.
No.
So why are you calling it 1994?
So 1994 is kind of like it's like a breakup song, but I think I don't like to call it a breakup song because I feel like that just seems I don't think that encompasses like everything that it is to me. It's very different from my first song that I released. It is I think it's a little bit like mellower and softer,
Hmm.
but also just the instrumentation is different. It relies pretty heavily on like vocal harmonies and stuff like that. So I'm really, really excited for people to hear it. It's called 1994 because it's okay. I'm gonna drop a lyric. There's a line in the song that says, "Play me 1994 and tell me you don't love me anymore."
Hmm.
And 1994 is the name of another song that the person who the song is about introduced me to.
Oh, okay. Is this a true
Yes.
story?
Yes.
All right. So I've learned in my past that when you tend to write songs about true things, they tend to be really good. So I'm really especially looking forward to this song.
I hope so.
All right. Um, did the song that this person wrote you inspired you to write 1994? Was it the actual breakup? When did you decide after the breakup to actually write the song?
Well, it just kind of happened. I was like sitting at my piano at home and I was just kind of like thinking about everything that had happened and like it was kind of like that moment after like a storm when everything's like really quiet and I was like
Right.
you kind of look back at what just happened and you're like, "Oh god." Um so I was just thinking about that and it just kind of happened.
So with this other song, 1994, that you refer to in your song,
Mhm.
who wrote that one?
It's a little bit crude, but the name of the band's Power Bottom, but with no vowels. It's like PWRBTTM. And the
Huh.
song does not my song 1994 like doesn't really have any similarities with that song. It's just a song that I used to listen to because of that person. So
What can we? You said that it's more mellow than your first songs. What can we expect with this? What instruments can we expect with this?
okay, so it's very much vocal harmony. Like it's like a soft kind of synth a little bit, and that's it's pretty minimalistic, and but I wanted to do something different than just me and a piano, because I thought that that was very much what the Crown Jewels was, along with other stuff, and I just wanted to
With insane belting.
yeah. Well, don't worry, there's that in this too. But I just wanted to, I think, like, with new songs that I release, I want to show like a different side of the kind of music that I create, and I want, each song to be a little bit different from the previous one released, and let people see just like what else I do besides the certain type of genre or mood or whatever.
So you said that you're planning to do your own. That there's going to be vocals in the song, vocal harmonies. Are you
Mm-hmm.
going to do your own, or are you going to get people maybe to do, if you can't go so low, get someone to do a super low part and do something like that?
No, so I mean, so it's already done. So, but there's like at the beginning, there's like I think a 4 or 5 part harmony, which is just my vocals, and it's yeah. I think like if I really wanted to get a low tone, that I would have asked someone, but for the most part, it's I didn't feel like it needed that bass.
Hmm.
I felt like so.
We had Ben Gaynor on last season where he talked about the album. Oh, I had to ask that question actually. Um, but you're planning, when do you? So you said that you're going to release an EP sometime in the future, and that's like 3 or 4 or 5 songs. You said you had 30 songs on your phone, which you said are ready to be released. You think, but might need a little more work. When
Yeah.
do you think that you will feel comfortable releasing an EP?
Um, it's not gonna be like soon.
Yeah, but like,
I think that like it is really dependent on how my next few songs do, and like how people just react to them. Because I don't want to work like super duper hard on an EP and put it out there to just have it like flop.
yeah,
Um, so it does really depend on like how the next few songs do, and just like promoting stuff. And I really like, I think about it all the time. Like I really love the idea of like putting out a collection of songs rather than one, because I think there's just like so much to be done with that.
yeah.
Um, but uh, so when that will be, I'm really not sure, but I'm very excited for the day.
Because Paul McCartney released an album called Egypt Station. It's not an EP, but it was an album where he basically did it where you have to listen to the whole thing, because it's sort of like a train station. You have opening station, then a bunch of other things in the middle, and then like closing station. You have to
Mhm.
listen to the whole thing. When you decide to release it, would you plan on doing something similar where you have to make the audience listen to the whole thing at one time? Just put a bunch of singles in there? What are you planning on doing?
So whenever I write, I've been writing songs for like, I wrote my first song when I was like 9, and obviously it wasn't very good, but like I really, really started writing music when I was about 13. So or like 12, when I was 12. So I've got about like 4 years of music that I've written, and I write a lot. So with each kind of like moment or like phase in which I'm writing certain songs about certain things, they just kind of morph into this collection. So like I have songs that are sorted into like different kind of categories or groups, I think.
Right.
And so um I think that like if I was to put out a collection of songs, it would have the same tone or be about like the same event, but I don't think I would ever like release something where you have to listen from like start to finish to get the entire story.
Okay.
Um, or maybe I would. I couldn't really say, but I mean, it sounds like a really cool idea. But again, it's a thing of like, if you're Paul McCartney, of course people are going to listen to your entire album. If you're Abigail Keefe, maybe not. So,
I will. If you release one, I will listen to the whole thing. I promise.
thank you.
We have a question from lay audience. When quarantine is over, do you have any thoughts about having a live band or gigs in the area?
I would love to do that. There are a few coffee houses, like there's one in Cohasset that I play at. There's just yeah, I love playing live. But yes.
All right. Um, by the way, I want to congratulate you on completing sophomore year.
Thank you.
Do you spend all of your time on music now that school is over, or do you do also school prep for next year? Like, what percentage on average do you spend doing music?
Um, I don't know. I think like for me, if I sit down with all my recording gear and really, really try to record a song, it doesn't work very well. I think like how I write a song or record a song comes from it's like a, it's so hard to explain, but it's like, there's just sometimes it feels like I need to do this. Like I need to record this song. So I wouldn't say that it's like very, like it's not something you can estimate, but it's I've been trying to do it at least once a week because I have nothing better to do. So um that's how it is right now.
Well, it's good to continue it because it's practice and you get a lot better at it. When writing a song, this is the last question because we're about to run out of time, but when writing a song, do you ever get stuck or lose momentum while like sitting at the piano or writing it?
Yes. Absolutely. I think that the songs that can be completed in one like 1994 was probably written in like 10 minutes.
Wow.
Just cuz like it's this thing of like it has to be written. For me, it's this feeling of like this has to be like put on paper and written for me to like understand what's happening. And there are some songs that just like some songs take a half an hour, some songs take like 15 minutes, and then I'm like I can't do this anymore, and then I come back to them. But I have a big kind of document of like lyrics that I've written that don't really fit, that aren't a song. And
Right.
I just write lyrics in the document. And sometimes when I'm sitting down to write something, I'll like pick and choose from that document and put that in. So, but it's not always a consistent thing. But I think when it is a consistent thing, it's better.
Well, that is a very interesting because if I were to try and write music, I'd probably get stuck after 5 minutes of trying to do something. That's actually happened. um, but yeah, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for
Wonderful interview.
having me.
I remember July 8th. It comes out everywhere.
Yes.
1994. I will be looking forward to that. I was very anxious over the past months and no one was going to come out. Um, so yeah,
Me
thank you for
too.
coming on, Abby.
Thank you. I'll see you later.
Bye. Ooh. All right. So that was Abby Keefe from Norwell, Massachusetts. And that's about her new song, 1994. Like I just said, it comes out July 8th on all streaming platforms. That includes like Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, YouTube, all that stuff. So if you want to look at it, please. I've been like dying to see this song. So yes, please wait for July 8th and you'll be able to stream it everywhere. My next guest is also from Norwell. She is an accomplished actress in musicals and also singer in the choir. Please welcome the great, the wonderful Bianca Anderson. Waiting for Bianca Anderson. Hold on. Hello, Bianca.
Hello there.
So, how have you been doing since you're like one of the first guests that has not been on the show before the season. So, how have you been?
I've been doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Um, this is the first show where I've actually not been ridiculously nervous before it started. So, all right. So we've had a couple people in the past talk about theater and things. We've had TJ Bonica, Natalie Lacey, Sterling Williams, Morgan Lanham, and partially Grace Maroney, and now you. So I also know that you do choir. So we'll talk about for the majority of the 20 minutes. We'll talk about theater, but for chorus, but we'll touch on theater for a little bit at the beginning.
All right.
So, I know that you just completed, if I'm correct, sophomore year as well as Abby did, right?
Yep.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Was the ending of the school year with the whole remote learning a huge struggle?
It was definitely a lot more different than I thought it was going to be when we went into remote learning. I thought it was going to be like not necessarily classes given how it started off,
Yeah,
but I did struggle through it, but I managed to get myself together in the end and get through it.
that's awesome. So, you also, in school, you take a theater class, if I'm correct. Or maybe I'm not correct.
I have not taken a theater class. I do the club, but I am signed
Oh,
up to take a theater class next year if they run it.
right. Theater club. Is Natalie Lacey in your class?
No.
All right.
I don't believe we're in the same grade.
Oh, I didn't know if it was a multi-grade thing or if it was.
No.
All right.
What
So,
her classes are. I've never had her in my classes though.
well, if you ever do, I know it's going to be a delight because I've heard during her interview is amazing. So if you ever get a chance to work together, that'd be awesome. But when you do a class like that, what do you actually like rehearse plays, or do you study like where plays came from, different types of them? Like, what do you do in a theater class?
Um, it depends on the class. Like I said, this is going to be my personal first time in a theater class should this class run. I've made attempts to join classes before, but they haven't run, sadly.
Hmm.
But I have heard a lot of people talking about them, and there's different types. So there's the class where you work on what everyone does backstage, where you practice lighting and you practice setting up scenes and makeup and costume design.
So the history about theater is basically about the history. Then there's
Yeah.
makeup, there's set design, there's lighting,
Yeah.
and you're part of screenwriting.
Yes. Playwriting, yeah. Which is what I'm hoping to get into should it run. Which I'm hoping that this year's going to be the year. Because I heard a lot of people might be signing up for theater classes this year. And then there's acting ensemble, which is strictly acting. And you actually, I believe, audition for that class. So you'll go in with a monologue and you do like a play audition to get into the class.
Hmm. Is there? So you said that it got canceled like years in the past because there weren't enough people. What is I don't know how to say this, person limit that there needs to be for the class?
I'm pretty positive that it's the same as any other class. I can't give you a certain number. What I do know is that I feel like you need at least 10 people to run a class because I've been in pretty small classes in other electives before because theater is an elective. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that you need at least 10 people, but like I said, that's not information that I would know. The teachers would be more than likely to know that than me.
Hmm. So you said you're going to playwriting. Have you practiced writing? Because Grace Maroney was on and she talked about writing movies and things. Have you ever tried writing like a play? Is that extremely difficult? If I tried to write a play, I would probably get to Nick. Bleh. I wouldn't know how to start off any dialogue whatsoever. So, have you ever tried writing before? Or you're going to start writing next year.
Well, writing in general, I actually do write a lot, but playwriting, I have tried it before. It's not, for me, it's not hard because I have looked into how do you write a play, but it's more, you need to keep that focus. So that's an issue that I have is I'll start something and then I'll struggle with, oh, where do I need to go from here? And I did in eighth grade, I believe, start practicing writing a play. but I didn't like where it was going and I couldn't figure it out and I stopped working on it. And I have tried other times as well more recently. I got a bit further with those attempts, but I focused more on schoolwork and
Right.
my not playwriting. So I'm hoping that this class will definitely help me to figure out more about how to do playwriting.
With these number of classes, there's the acting, set design, all these playwriting, all that stuff. Do you actually perform what happens in these classes? So like if you were to write a play, would that play be performed and then the set people would design the sets and then the lighting people would do the lighting and then the makeup people would do the makeup?
Well,
Do you actually perform?
I do believe that you will wind up acting them out because there is a limit to how long the play is, which is one act. So I do believe that with playwriting, for instance, you will wind up acting out that play in the end with the
Right.
other people in the class. So yeah, I do think that with playwriting, you will do acting with those plays as well. You might not get it to the extent that other classes might do it. Like I said, I'm going to be new to the theater class experience, but I have heard a lot. But I'm going to assume, given what it was said in the class description, that yes, you will act out these plays, or your peers will at least.
Well, is the difference like you're gonna act them out in the class or you're gonna act them out like on stage in front of an audience?
Oh no, they would be in the class because acting ensemble, they don't do anything on the stage either. Theater, depending on how much they act, they don't do it for like an audience like the theater club does it. For the classes, it's more you do it for your peers in the class.
Right. Uh, would you ever consider acting, or do you just want to stick to playwriting?
I would. Like I said, I do the theater club and I actually really enjoy acting. I've been doing it really ever since I could back in middle school. And I really do enjoy acting on stage. It's really fun. It's fun getting into other characters and seeing what I can do with them. In my most recent play that I did in this last school year before quarantine, called Will, I actually had a lot of fun exploring a character I haven't really explored before. It was the opposite of
Right.
my personality. It was dark. She was dark. She was brooding. She had all of these different issues that I had never gone through before. So it
Right.
was, how do I, obviously she was younger too. So it was, how do I get into that mindset of being this character? I had to figure out how I wanted her to talk. And we get a bit more freedom with how we dress for it. Granted, there is a certain guideline to how
Right. Yeah.
we should look, but we have a lot more freedom. So it was, okay, how do I want her to look? Do I want her to have any props?
Right.
And I actually wound up bringing in a sketchbook because I figured, hey, this would fit the character. And I feel like in the end, the character came out really well. And I've had other characters where I felt like, hey, I could have done better with that. So really, with acting for me, as much as I love writing, I feel like acting is more of my strong suit at the moment than playwriting. And I just find it really fun to get into that character and try to figure out how I want this to play out.
Hmm. That is actually very interesting because I was always wondering how people would get into character with their people out, especially if it's not anything like them. So that's actually very
Yeah.
interesting. Do you ever sing in your performances? Like not
Um,
in chorus, but in the plays?
well, in the middle school, and I know that you did not go to normal middle school, you went to a different school.
Yes.
We actually do musicals. The theater club does one musical a year, and I was in all three of the years with the theater.
Oh,
So yes, and it goes into, again, you have to figure out the character when you're singing. So for instance, third year, years 1 and 2, which were The Lion King and The Little Mermaid, I was a background character. Granted, in The Little Mermaid, I was more present in a sense. I was more of a specific role than in The Lion King, where I was literally grass and we were basically the walking singing scenery.
Oh
And
boy.
then in 8th grade, we did Beauty and the Beast, and I was a gender swapped version of Monsieur Dark, who is the insane asylum owner in Beauty and the Beast. So, along with trying to figure out the character and how I wanted to play this creepy character, I also had to figure out how to sing
Right.
for that character, and I actually wound up having to train my voice to sing a lot deeper than I'm used to
Hmm.
because I'm more on the soprano end in terms of singing. So I basically had to try to sing tenor, and it was very challenging. But when you're doing a musical, you just have to figure out how to get it done, and I wound up getting it done. And it was a really fun show. And I actually do have a bit of a preference towards musicals,
Hmm.
but obviously I do enjoy the normal plays as well. And I hope that in the future years we wind up doing a musical at the high school because I feel like that would be a really fun experience.
Can you suggest a musical, or do they only do like plan stuff?
I would suggest a musical, especially at the high school level, just because there's not as many musicals that you do in the high school. I don't know if you've been to any of the shows before, but a lot of them
Yeah.
are just normal plays, not really
Right.
any singing.
Yeah.
Although when we did Our Town in freshman year, there was a bit of singing, but it was more just plain church singing, which it only happened once or twice, so I
Right.
wouldn't really consider that a musical. Although it was nice to get to sing a little bit. But in the future, I definitely would like to see more musicals because it would combine my love of acting with my love of singing. And I feel like it would be really fun for people to come and see a musical because I feel like musicals hold your attention so much more than a normal play.
And was the musical setting with the singing and everything what prompted you to join choir?
It was more the fact that I really enjoyed singing that prompted me to join musicals. And from there, it went to, oh, hey, I really like acting. This is really fun for me. And so it was more because I enjoyed singing and joined the musical theater, I realized that I really enjoyed acting as much as I do singing.
Hmm. Would you ever um, do sort of like, could you ever write your own musical? I know that you want to be a playwright, but would you say it's more difficult to write a musical than as a play because you have to do all the vocals and music and stuff like that, or does someone else do that stuff?
I feel like if I ever did try to do a musical, I'd probably wind up going to one of my friends who are more musically inclined in terms of the music writing stuff. Like I would probably go to like Abby because Abby and I are friends, and or I'd be like, hey Abby, can you help me write this, please? Because I feel like I would be able to a degree, get the
This
lyrics
Abby?
down. Yes, this Abby. That Abby, yes.
Oh, that's never gonna get old. Oh, well.
But yeah, I would definitely go to her and some other friends I know who do music and be like, hey, can I get your help with this? So that would definitely be more of a group effort as opposed to doing it all on my own and figuring everything out.
Is Abby still watching? Hold on. Oh, I think she saw that and she's like, okay. She was on 5 seconds ago. All right.
Yeah.
So, oh boy. Uh, Unfortunately, I have no more time for the interview. I'm just very, very sorry for that, for the connection issues.
It's
Tried, that's actually never happened before to this degree. But just because the interview is over does not mean that the show has yet to finish. We have a game to play, and unfortunately,
oh.
I forgot to take screenshots of pictures, which is what the game was. So I'm going to, off the top of my head, do Is It True? So Is It True is a game where, I don't know if you've watched the show before. I'm going to say a statement. If you guess the statement is true or false and it's correct, you get a point. If you get it wrong, you lose a point. If the statement's false, but you guess the word that'll make the statement true, you double your points. But if you get that wrong, you lose all of your points.
Oh,
You don't have to go that route if you don't want to. You can just stop if you get the true or false right.
okay.
All right. So, 1. The new New York World Trade Center, or the Freedom Tower, is 1,776 feet tall, basically commemorating the fact that America started in 1776. True or false?
True.
Yes.
Yay.
Point. I don't have a pen on me, so I'm going to use a calculator just to keep track of things. All right. Point. Daybreak was started because I was very bored during my time in quarantine.
Is this true?
Yes, I was really bored. It's not like that anymore. I don't do it because I'm bored. I do it because it's actually really fun hearing interviews.
Yes.
But it did start because I was really bored.
Makes sense.
All right. The company SpaceX is looking to land on Mars in the next 10 years.
This is true.
Yes, it is. We are going to the moon in 2024.
I'm going to go with that is false.
You are false. It is true.
Oh.
NASA is planning to go to the moon by 2024.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which is very interesting, actually. Planning to set up a actual stationary base there, like an actual moon base, which would actually be very interesting.
Oh, that's really cool. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah. And the final question. This one is worth 2 points. Meaning everything is double. So if you get it wrong, you lose.
Oh, I go back to 0.
Yes. So, here is the final question. I'm going to amp this up as much as I can to make you as nervous as possible. All right. Today is the season finale of season 2.
False. It is the season finale of season 3.
Yes, yes. Now, these are very easy questions, but you beat every single person that's ever played Is It True?
Really?
You were the top, yes. Grace Mulroney got... No, actually, you tied with Grace Mulroney. Grace Mulroney got 3. Riley Kravinger got 2 and a... Oh, no, sorry. Someone else in the past got 2.5. So you are tied for first. So that's not bad. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Especially because I had to go off this at the top of my head, which is my fault. So, but I'd like to thank you for coming on the show. I'm very sorry about the connection issue. That's really never happened before. Hopefully,
thank you.
Hopefully,
thank you.
If you ever. But yeah, so thank you for coming on.
Okay, well, thank you for having me on the show.
No problem. If you ever want to come back on, feel free.
All right. I will see you later.
Bye. All right, so that was Bianca Anderson, and yeah, so we had a bit of a connection issue there. The bandwidth is stretched thin, so I'm very sorry about that. Hopefully that'll never happen again, but in case it does, I'll just do that restart thing. Hopefully it wasn't too much of a problem for you guys. So that is the end of season 3, one of the best seasons we've ever had. New features. We did the question feature. We had a new question feature here. That's a couple questions from the Facebook responses. If you have a question for next week, please respond. Next week is not planned yet. I have not started the planning for season 4. That'll probably start tomorrow. So I'm not going to tell you who's on yet because I'm not exactly sure. I have a rough idea, but not sure yet. So I will release the guest list for the entirety of season 4 on Wednesday of this week. This week, meaning next week. So look out for that. It'll be on all platforms. I'll put it on Instagram and Facebook. So if you're watching it from either of those, it'll be on there. Of course, this will go on YouTube. And yeah, thank you all for watching. We have a new shout out today to Catherine Mahoney. Happy birthday to Catherine Mahoney. This is from your friend Riley Kravinger, and actually from me because I didn't know it was your birthday, but happy birthday. Hopefully you watch this and I hope you're having a good birthday. So yeah, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I will be wearing suits now from now on. So hopefully you like that setup more. I might not do with the tie as much, but I am going to be wearing suits, so you can expect that from the future. There'll be some new features in season 4. Every season there's usually a couple more features that we add to Daybreak. Season 1, we had the intro. Season 2, we had the guest thing. And in season 3, we had the intro song and all this new thing. Season 3, we had the questions. Season 4, we'll probably have new question features, new YouTube, things like that. So please look out for that. If you want to get a shout out, please DM me or text me or something if you have my number, and I will shout out to a person that you want me to shout out to at the end of the episode, like I just did with Catherine Mahoney. So, yeah, I'd like to thank you so much for watching Daybreak, and I hope to see you guys next time at Daybreak. Bye, everybody.